In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 frequencies that I use to mix kick drum on every single worship song that I do. And then whether it's in the studio, whether it's live or a live recording, it's always in these 5 areas that I either boost or cut, just depending on the kick drum, how it's mic'd, who played it. And so pretty much this 5, EQ band rule works pretty much every time. So let's dive in. So on this song, this is a mic'd up kick. They only gave me the kick in mic, and so right now we just have the Black Silence audio silencer on, which by the way is the best gate that I've ever used. It is so fast, it works insanely well. And then behind it, we're just going to use an F6 to, so you can visibly see the EQ and what I'm describing. You can hear and see at the same time. I will not always use a parametric EQ like this, but I'll use an SSL EQ or something like that. But using this today just to give you a good visual representation. And so we're going to use it on this mic, but we're also going to use it on a one shot on a different song where the artist sent me a one shot of a kick that he triggered, and he really wanted that kick sound for that particular song. So I had to make it work. I didn't love the one shot, but I applied the EQ rule that I use on kick drums all the time, and it worked out. So let's just give this these drums a listen. I can't show you the full song because the song's not released yet, but we're just going to listen to the drums. All right, so as you guys can tell, the kick drum doesn't sound bad. It's just not really cutting like we want it to. And then here's the kick drum soloed. Cool. So first frequency is somewhere in the 250 range. It normally there's just something funny, woofy. It kind of buries the kick in the mix if you don't take this frequency out, and it can range all the way down to like 100 hertz or to 300, somewhere in there, but I usually find around 250 to like 200 is where that woofiness is. So let's see if we can find that. So about right there. Yeah, so it's a little bit lower on this one, a little about 117, 120. So you can see that the kick drum already tightens up a ton when I do that. Okay, next is that it's like a beach volleyball or like a basketball sound. We don't want it to sound like that. We want it to sound like a kick drum. So that is usually in that like 800 to 900 area, sometimes a little bit higher. Yeah, so about 830 right there. Boom. Okay, so let's just bypass that, see what it sounds like. So the kick drum, you guys can already hear, it's already tightening up quite a bit. Next, what I do is I find the low end that needs to be pushed, and I always tend to look for where the fundamental of the kick drum is hitting, and I try to err on the little bit of a higher side of it, because if you boost the lower side of the kick drum, it kind of falls apart. It kind of gets very loose sounding and not as tight, and it won't punch as well into the mix. So let's give this a low end to listen. Yeah, so we're looking like 65 is really nice there. So we'll just bypass that low band that we just added 65 in. Yeah, just give it some good, nice low end presence. And then for the top end, because we need our kick to really cut through the mix, I usually start around 8K and give it a good boost. So not too much. And then I tend to stop right about here and then kind of listen to it within the mix, the context, at least of the drums. Make sure it's not interfering, or if it's just not pushing out above like the toms and stuff. So we'll give it a listen right now with the toms. All right, and let's just bypass all the EQ moves that we just did and listen to it how it's sitting in the mix of the drums. So kind of buried, kind of gone. And then now it's really sticking out. And so if your kick is even still buried, the last frequencies that I tend to boost just to get it to stick out, and maybe if you want it to sound more aggressive, is like the 2.5 to 4.5 range, somewhere in there. I noticed that the lower you go in that range, the more aggressive it is. And so if you want, a more of aggressive sounding kick drum, you start at like that 2.5. So we'll give that a listen as I boost it here. We'll give it a solo. See, if we really boost that, it gets really aggressive sounding. But for worship kick drums, I tend to err on the side of the 4.5 if it needs to poke out more. So let's just bypass that band where we boosted about 4.5. So you see, it's just a slight boost, but really those are the types of EQ moves that you want to have whenever you are mixing a very dense worship mix, and you need the kick drum just to poke out just a little bit more, but not interfere with anything. That 4.5 move somewhere in there, it could be lower, it could be a little bit higher, just depending on your mix and the kick drum. But this is the general EQ that I will use for most kick drums. And so now let me show you on that one shot. So let me switch over. Okay, cool. So this song was sent to me, and again, I can't show it to you quite yet, but here is the drum mix. Okay, and so this is the kick one shot that was sent to me. And you can tell I still have silencer on, even though I don't really need it. But listen to it without silencer. I just have the length turned all the way down, so it's really just kind of cutting off that roomy sound that the one shot has. Turn it on. So it's just cutting it down a little bit. Nothing major. But now let's add an F6. And let's do pretty much the same thing that we just did. So let's just give this a listen. So yeah, the woofiness again, right about 150. So we'll pull that down. Look for that basketball sound. So a little bit higher this time, about 900. And looks like the fundamental is about 40. So we'll give that a slight boost. And then 8K for some presence. And let's see how that sounds with the mix. So I'm just going to back off the low end a little bit. Since it's a sample, it already has plenty of low end. So this boost is just going to be 1 dB there. And then let's try to boost this 4.5 as well. All right, and then we're gonna bypass, then on. I mean, come on, that's night and day different, and it was just a single EQ, single parametric EQ on just that one sample. Like, it's nothing major. We don't even have any compression on this channel yet, which we may not need it since it is a sample. Now if you guys are like, man, I wish this was all written down, well, I have an entire mixing cheat sheet available for you that not only has like the kick drum and all the drums, but has all the other instruments that you would need. It has boosts and cuts for across the whole a EQ spectrum for those particular instruments, even including some compression settings. So pick that up down below, absolutely free. And thank you guys for checking out the video. If you guys want me to do more videos like this, where it's just simple frequency EQ on these instruments, drop a comment down below. Tell me what you would like me to dive in on, just on some simple EQ stuff. Because I think going back to the basics sometimes on these types of mixes will actually help, because we like to overcomplicate things with sidechain and saturation and compression and all these other things. But sometimes all you need to do is just some simple EQ, and it's so easy to forget that. So drop a comment down below, and I'll see you on the next video.